In 2013, Mercedes entered the compact SUV market with the GLA. Now it's gotten a facelift. We're testing the sportiest member of the GLA family, AMG GLA 45 4MATIC. One of its special attributes is its giant front air vents. The fender skirts have been redesigned to reduce friction. At the back, the eye catchers are the new diffuser insert, the decorative chrome elements, and the separation edge on the spoiler. Under the hood, there's a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine with 280 kilowatts of power. 475 Newton-meters of torque push the driver back in his seat when the car accelerates. The AMG GLA 45 goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.4 seconds. With a price tag of 60,000 euros, this version is twice as expensive as the basic GLA model. And the difference is really apparent on the interior. Everything here is sporty and luxurious, and the AMG's head writing is visible everywhere, like a medal on a proudly inflated chest. With the optional AMG driver's package, the car can reach speeds of up to 270 kilometers an hour. In addition to the driving modes, Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus, there's also a race setting. All of them can be customized to suit drivers' individual preferences. Our car tester Reinhold Deisenhofer says that the exhaust button in the central console is especially important. It's what turns the GLA into an AMG with its characteristic sound. Reinhold is impressed with the highly precise handling that responds to every millimeter you turn the wheel. But the car doesn't like driving over lane dividers. The motor also responds to the slightest touch of the gas pedal. It's got plenty of pickup, and it sounds like a sports car. But the GLA is not only fun to drive in the country, it's also great for the city. That's because of its compact size. In dirt or off-road situations, all-wheel drive really comes to the fore. Reinhold says that compact cars, the entry-level models based on the A-Class, are particularly important for Daimler. Since 2012, 2 million of the vehicles have been sold. You won't find any comparable car right now that's more fun to drive than the 280-kilowatt AMG. And anyone intending to try one out should take driving lessons. At speeds of over 250 kilometers an hour, the road gets mighty narrow.
Jenseits von 250 km/h mit so einer kompakten Rennsemmel ganz schön eng.
Car tester Emmanuel Schaefer says car makers always come up with something unusual to introduce a new model. Skoda has chosen an art museum in Stockholm for the Car Rack's world premiere. The Artipelag hosts exhibitions and can be rented for events, like this Skoda premiere. More than 350 journalists from 29 countries traveled to Stockholm to meet the new Car Rack. Skoda unveiled the successor to the Yeti with plenty of special effects and flair. Designers have changed the car's look. The boxiness of the Yeti is so yesterday. And with the new lines came a new name, the Car Rack. The word is derived from an indigenous Alaskan language, as is Kodiak, and it's a combination of the concepts auto and aero. Skoda's head of development, Christian Strube, says that they've reinvented the Yeti from the ground up. It has a new platform based on Volkswagen's MQB toolkit. That enables the two car makers to collaborate on development. The Car Rack shares its technology with another VW Group member, the Seat Ateca. Both roll off the assembly line at the same time. Connectivity and safe smartphone use and driving are key features for many potential buyers. Skoda CEO Bernhard Meyer says digital technology is important today, and Skoda wants to make cars into a perfect third place after home and office. We want drivers to have the same opportunities to communicate that they have in those places. Thanks to Skoda Connect, the vehicle is always linked to the internet. That way it can provide not just entertainment, but also information and support, suggesting alternative routes, for example, or automatically making emergency calls. Full LED headlights with integrated day running lights are available as an option. The running lights also double as indicators. The engines haven't changed much. They've already made appearances in a range of VW models and can deliver between 85 and 140 kilowatts of power. 2 petrol engines and 3 diesel will be available to start. Manuel says the Car Rack is much roomier than it looks. With the seats folded down, more than 1,500 liters of space are available. And with the variable loading system, you can haul cargo of all sizes and shapes. What's called the VarioFlex system is composed of 3 individual rear seats that can be positioned separately or taken out entirely. That gives the Car Rack a maximum cargo space of 1,810 liters. The new Skoda Car Rack will show up in dealer showrooms in autumn of this year. Prices haven't been set yet, but it's estimated a basic model will sell for about 21,000 euros. BMW is freshening up its 2 Series, including the 230i convertible. The ragtop model is a perfect summer car. Its 185 kilowatt engine goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5.9 seconds. The new convertible will be available for a sticker price of 46,000 euros in Germany in July. Volvo is bringing out the 2nd generation of its XC60. It's been redesigned to be one of the safest cars in the world. At speeds of up to 130 kilometers an hour, it can be partially driven automatically. The car is available in 2 gasoline and 2 diesel versions, and 1 plug-in hybrid model. Michelle Assenmacher is testing a Honda Clarity, her first fuel cell-powered car in Denmark, because it's the European country with the best network of hydrogen gas stations. The Japanese car maker has developed a vehicle that produces no toxic emissions, runs on electricity, recharges rapidly, and has the range of a gasoline or diesel-powered vehicle. All the advantages and none of the disadvantages of a conventional internal combustion engine. Michelle's first impression of the Honda Clarity fuel cell is very good. The interior is attractive, and the car is very comfortable and quiet. Honda's environmentally friendly flagship has an elegant, stately design. Ultra-thin LED headlights underscore the futuristic appearance that we can expect from Honda models in the future. The fuel cell stack has been reduced in size, so now it fits in the engine compartment. The Honda Clarity is all about aerodynamics. Special alloy wheel rims and the hatchback roofline reduce wind resistance. Air curtains let the air stream smoothly past the wheel arches. To improve the Clarity's aerodynamics, Honda has added air intakes in front and back, says Michelle. Air streams in at the front and leaves again through an opening at the back, past the wheel. And that means less air turbulence. The Clarity has room for 5 people. The back seat has ample space. But the trunk is a real problem. The two big hydrogen tanks leave only 334 liters of space for cargo, and the back seat can't be put down. Almost 80% of the interior surface consists of environmentally friendly materials. The dashboard and the interior cladding on the doors are made of recycled polyester. Plant materials are used for the floor mats and roof lining. As with most alternative power systems, this car is very quiet to drive, says Michelle. The transmission is direct, and Michelle especially likes that the car coasts rather than starting to brake as soon as she takes her foot off the gas. How does a fuel cell car work, actually? To make it simple, a fuel cell car is an electric car that doesn't need to be plugged in. It has its own power plant on board. In the fuel cell stack in the engine compartment, oxygen and water react, producing electrical energy. And the ash from this oxidation is pure water. A turbo compactor pumps air, and with it, oxygen through the fuel cell. The hydrogen comes from two pressure tanks. Refueling the Honda Clarity is just like refueling a car with a gasoline engine, says Michelle. Open the latch and lower this little switch. Then set the fuel nozzle on it. When you secure the lever, air is shot into the tank to measure how full it is and how much hydrogen needs to be added. Filling up takes about 3 minutes. The full cells and a buffer battery under the front seats produce a maximum of 130 kilowatts and 300 Newton meters of torque. When the car slows or brakes, energy is recouped in the battery, like in a normal electric car. Honda says one tank of hydrogen will take the Clarity more than 700 kilometers, but 600 or 650 kilometers is probably more realistic. The car accelerates from 0 to 100 in 9 seconds. When you accelerate, says Michelle, you can really hear the car sucking in air from the outside. Maybe you can't hear it well in this film, but here inside the car, it sounds strange, but pretty cool. When you step on the gas, a hissing sound drowns out the hum of the electric motor. That's compressed air being forced into the fuel cell and water vapor leaving the car through the underbody. The Honda Clarity won't be seen on German streets in the near future. There simply aren't enough hydrogen service stations. Honda is one of 5 car manufacturers taking part in the initiative High Five, which wants to promote knowledge and acceptance of fuel cell technology. "28 years ago, the Land Rover Discovery started out as a large family-friendly off-road vehicle, and its 4 generations have attracted more than 1.2 million buyers. For the 5th generation, the vehicle has been revolutionized. Car tester Andre Zimmerman says that depending on the model, the new Discovery is up to 480 kilos lighter, but it still weighs about 2 tons. With that weight, it does hug curves tight. But that's not what the Discovery is about. It's a big car, and the suspension is very comfortable. It feels a bit like being on a cruise ship, but overall, it works out well.
Das Gesamtpaket ist auf jeden Fall stimmig.
The Discovery is so much lighter because engineers designed it without a steel frame. The chassis is self-supporting and made completely of aluminum. We tested the top version of this big diesel car. It costs around 70,000 euros. That gets you lots of interior luxury and acceleration from 0 to 100 in just over 8 seconds. Andre says the Land Rover can look back on one of the longest off-road histories in the automotive sector. But is the new Discovery sacrificing tradition to the latest trends? Is it just another SUV, or has it remained a true off-roader? We'll test that in a special location, underground in a former mine. I'm well prepared. In an emergency, I want to be found quickly. Before the car goes down to the pits, it has to ascend, exploiting all of its 28 centimeters of clearance, an air suspension system that gives it 6 centimeters more clearance than the model with conventional coil springs. The Discovery first shows what it can do when it leaves the road. With the optional €1,400 off-road package, handling can be optimized to suit various types of terrain. An off-road reduction helps to drive the car forward, slowly, but with lots of power. Andre says that the 20-degree slope feels steep, but the Discovery can handle 30-degree grades with no problem. The Discovery's electronics assist the driver. That makes navigating even challenging obstacles like these steps child's play. Andre says that unlike a classic off-road vehicle where the driver has to choose which drive he wants to use, the Discovery's fine sensors can tell which wheel has the most traction and where to deliver the power.
Welches Rad Grip hat und wo die Leistung hinschicken muss.
Back above ground, the almost 5-meter-high vehicle shows off its design. Lots of details, including the curve in the hatchback, harken back to the Discovery's past. Andre says the new Land Rover lives up to the name Discovery. When the electric trunk lid is raised, you discover this drawbridge-like element that can be lowered by pressing this button. That helps get heavy cargo out of the back. It also has an additional function. No matter how heavy you are, you can use it as a two-person picnic bench.
Als Picknickbank verwenden.
You can adjust the height with the air suspension system. And here is a third row of seats. Andre wants to take a closer look at that.
Was ich hier gerade noch entdecke, die dritte Sitzreihe. Und die schaue ich mir jetzt mal als nächstes an.
Can you get to those seats, he asks.
Ja, das geht schon mal.
Yes, you can.
Oh ja. Ja, nicht ganz komfortabel, aber
Andre says that it's not very comfortable here, but it's okay considering that he's seated in the third row. The seat remains locked in its most forward position, which means that he has a lot of leg room. There's sufficient headroom as well. It's not like being in the cheap seats. He's even got his own little storage space and access to one of the car's 9 USB ports. You have to say, well done, Land Rover. The front seats, of course, are also anything but cheap. In front of the central armrest, there's a command center with the air suspension, the off-road mode, and gear shifting wheel. The HSE luxury option comes with 2 panorama sunroofs. Andre says the Discovery left a lasting impression on him, above all because the designers haven't tried to make this off-road vehicle into an everyday street car. It drives okay, but it's not a sports car. That's the way it should be. Its performance off-road together with the flexibility of the interior and third row of seats really bowled Andre over. Those are all factors in the Discovery's favor. A look now at an iconic car that has a huge following. Car tester Christoph Bauer is out and about in a Volkswagen Beetle convertible, exploring the mountain plateau of Lavoroni in Italy. The Beetle Cabriolet was manufactured right up until 1980. It was first designed back before the Second World War. Christoph Bauer says these days the convertible is the epitome of freedom and independence. But in the 1930s, things were different. Those who could afford it bought a hardtop sedan, preferably with a chauffeur. There were always soft tops, but they tended to be very basic and quite a bit cheaper. So the Beetle, which was always intended as a car for the masses, obviously planned to have a convertible right from the start. The first prototype for the soft-top Beetle was built in 1936, although series production would not follow for many years. After the war, it was the hardtop models for the first Volkswagen that rolled off the assembly lines in Wolfsburg. In 1949, finally, the Beetle Cabriolet took to the road. And many were keen to get in on the action. Like the first 60 VW sedans, the pre-war soft-top prototype was built in the garage of Ferdinand Porsche's villa in Stuttgart. The Beetle Cabriolet was always based on the most expensive and powerful version of the Beetle sedan that was currently available. This model from 1979, for example, has the 1.6-liter engine from the VW 1303S, which was first manufactured in 1972 and was the most powerful Beetle engine ever to go into series production. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers in 20 seconds. Yeah, nothing to get excited about there. But focusing on power and speed was always a taboo for VW. Their priority was reliability. That's a shame. A little more power would certainly suit the 1303 convertible. The 1979 Super Beetle, as it's known, had the best Beetle suspension of all time, distinguished by a coil spring and strut front suspension. This car that is more than 40 years old and with a pre-war design takes bends with astounding ease. Christoph says the handling of the VW Beetle is very special. The steering is unbelievably responsive, effortless. Because the engine is in the back, it powers the rear axles and the wheels directly, providing endless traction. The modern chassis that was introduced to the VW 1302 in 1970 allows for more space in the trunk, thanks to the longer front. From 1972, the 1303 came with a taller, curved windshield to comply with U.S. law, which required a greater distance between the driver and the windscreen. The modern style padded dashboard was another concession to passive safety. At the rear, an air-cooled 1.6-liter boxer engine provides 50 horsepower. The exterior of the 1303 convertible reveals little technical progress. There are a few details, like the chunky taillights, that earned the nickname elephant's feet. But otherwise, the basic shape of the VW Beetle hardly changed in 30 years of production. But in the interior, there were big changes introduced in the 70s, plastic everywhere. In those days, that was state-of-the-art, of course, but today, you'd love to just have a little chrome here and there instead. But the robust soft-top design was retained. The roof can be shut in a few simple steps, keeping out that summer rain. Simple and practical. Right from the start, the soft-top version of the Beetle cost around 1/3 more than the sedan. Still, sales for the Cabriolet boomed for over 3 decades. For years, the soft-top Beetle was the world's best-selling convertible. During 31 years of production, over 330,000 vehicles rolled off the assembly lines. Only in 1991 was it overtaken by the VW Golf. When it was announced in 1978 the production of the Beetle Cabriolet was to end, fans stormed the VW dealers to snap up the last remaining cars, which is pretty rare in the fast-moving automotive industry. So the VW convertible is definitely a milestone in automotive history. Driving with the wind in your hair, the Beetle Cabriolet proved convertibles don't have to be an unaffordable luxury, and in so doing has guaranteed that the soft top lives on.